What's going on, guys? I'm Alan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out the Boss Katana 50 MK2 guitar amp, which you guys can see right here behind me. This video is sponsored by Arkansas Music Works, so huge thanks to them for providing this amp for me to review. Arkansas Music Works is a music store located in Bentonville, Arkansas. Stop by the store, mention this review video, and you'll get 10% off your purchase of this amp. They do also offer shipping throughout the U.S., so you can send an email to info@arkansasmusicworks.com. Again, mention this review video in that email, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. In today's review video, we're going to talk about everything the amp comes with, all the features, build quality, and of course, I'm going to let you guys hear the amp with some sound examples. Let's jump into the review. This, of course, comes with the amp, the power cable, and the owner's manual. It does not include a USB cable, so if you're planning on hooking it up to your computer, you'll need one. I'll link one below. You'll need a USB-B cable. Let's briefly talk about the build quality. This amp is built really well. It's relatively light, coming in at 25 pounds, 10 ounces, and it does have a carrying handle on top. It has a tough black covering and a black grill, so I really like the look of it. Then it also has corner protectors. The top and rear control panels are metal with metal input jacks. I always like to see those over the plastic ones. The knobs are plastic, but they do still feel solid. The bottom has rubber feet also to help protect the amp and whatever surface you set it on. This amp is packed with features, so let's go over everything that's on the top control panel. Sorry I couldn't quite fit the whole thing in one shot. My overhead tripod is as high as it will go, but we'll start here and then we'll kind of move over when we get there. All right, so starting on the left here, we have a 1/4-inch input just for plugging in your guitar. Then we have our amp section here. So you have 5 different types of amps. You have an acoustic setting, which is actually used for just plugging in an acoustic guitar. It gives you a nice clean tone. I'll give you guys a demonstration of that in a little bit. Then you have clean, crunch, lead, and brown. And then you also have a variation button up here. So that gives you just like with each amp type, you can hit variation, gives you one more just kind of amp profile to choose from. Then here you have gain, volume. So that's your channel volume. And then EQ here, you have bass, mid, and treble. I went ahead and moved this over so I can show you guys the effects section. Now there's a lot of really cool onboard effects on here. I think the only downside to them is that they aren't super user-friendly, as in it's kind of hard to tell what effect you're using unless you have the user's manual with you or you just have it memorized. Like it might take a little while to get used to how this works. Took me a day or two to sort of like really understand it. All right, so we're going to start here with the booster section. I'm going to read this off because, again, I still don't have it memorized all the way. So the booster section, that's this bottom knob right here. So whenever we turn that, notice this little green light comes on. So whenever this is green, that means that we're using a blues drive. And then here in a minute, we'll go over how to switch banks. But if we go to bank B, then instead of a blues drive, it gives us a clean boost. So you can see how this gets confusing because you have 2 things for each knob. All right, so there's that. And then when it's red, so let's hit that, it'll turn red, then that's going to give us overdrive for this one. So on bank A, which is what we're on right now, it'll be an overdrive, then on bank B, it'll be mid boost. Then if we hit this again, it's going to turn orange this time. Whenever it's orange, it is distortion on bank A and then treble boost on bank B. Okay, the modulation, which is the top knob. This section, whenever it's green, it is a chorus. And then bank B is like a DC30 amp profile. And then whenever it's red, this is a phaser. And then whenever we switch banks here in a minute, it will be a compressor. Then for orange, sorry, this is flanger. And then if we're on bank B, it's a limiter. So yeah, can you imagine trying to memorize all that? I don't know. It seems kind of a bit tough. All right, so then moving over here to the effects. Whenever this one is green, we'll start there. This is tremolo on bank A, and if we switch to bank B, that would be the phaser. And then red is wah on bank A, and then another different type of flanger on bank B. Then if we go to orange, this gives us heavy octave on bank A and a pitch shifter on bank B. Okay, then delay is this top knob. Green means that we have a digital delay on bank A, and then bank B is a SDE 3000. Then again, also we have the tap tempo down here if you want to set that to your metronome. Then red, this is analog delay on bank A, bank B is digital delay. And then orange is tape echo, and then the other bank would be modulation. Whew! All right, that was a lot. And then going on to reverb. So for green on bank A, this is a plate reverb. Footswitch to bank B, it's just kind of a variation of a different type of plate reverb, doesn't specify what type. And then if we go to red, this is spring reverb on bank A, and then plate reverb on bank B. Go to orange, hall reverb on bank A, and then a different type of hall reverb on bank B. All right, so that's the hardest section, I think, right there to go over. Now, let's go ahead and jump on to the tone settings part. This part's also a little bit confusing. So I feel like this part of the amp's really easy to use over here. This part is a little more confusing. So on the tone settings, you have two channels, right? You have channel 1, channel 2, and this panel button. So let's say you get your sound set the way you want it, and you can save it on here. You just hit channel 1, just hold it down, and then that's going to save your channel 1. You can do the same thing with channel 2, and you can save a sound there, right? And you can also just hit panel, and that's going to basically just, instead of being one of your presets that you saved, that's going to just do whatever the knobs are set to. And then, so that's bank A, so like that. So then say we want to switch to bank B, like what I was saying earlier where we had bank B for those effects. We would just hold down the panel button. Okay, so there we go. So we held that down until it started blinking. And now this will give us basically bank A and bank B. So whenever this is blinking, now we're on bank B for all of these effects. And then we're also on bank B for channel 1 and 2. So you can save up to 4 sounds, right? You can save 2 sounds on bank A, and then you can save 2 more sounds on bank B. So there you go. I think that's kind of a confusing way that they did that, but it does work. You just might have to do a little bit of trial and error to get used to it. All right, let's go over the last little part here. So you have master volume there. That's straightforward. Then you have a cool feature here, a little power control section. So you have standby, which is basically, the amp's going to be muted during that, but you can still leave it on if you want to, just no sound's going to come out of it. Then you have a 0.5 watt, so maybe that's cool for like recording, or if you're just practicing in your room, you want to be quiet. 25 watt, maybe a small gig or something. And again, 50 watt, if you want to go even louder, you can. All right, and a power control here, on and off. There you go. That's it for the control panel. Overall, it's not too bad, except for I think this effects section and tone setting area could be laid out a little bit better. But there you go. That's the control panel. Let's take a look at the back panel. So here you have the AC input jack, so that's for your power cable. Then you have the USB input, so that's how I recorded everything. Just ran this straight into my computer. You can also edit the onboard effects using Boss's software. Then you have an auxiliary input if you want to plug in a phone or an MP3 player. Then here you can connect a foot switch, either the FS6 or the FS5L. This allows you to switch between bank A, bank B, channel 1, and channel 2, all from the foot switch without having to go over to the amp. So that's a pretty cool feature. I'll link all those pedals down below. You can also connect an expression pedal here if you want to be able to change the volume. Then power amp in. This directly inputs a signal to the power amp without passing it through the preamp of the Katana. And then you have the phone/record out, allows you to connect headphones. This also stops sound from going to the speaker, so it's great for practicing or running your sound into a PA for live performance. There you go. Then inside here you have a custom 12-inch 50-watt speaker. Now I know you guys are eager to hear what this amp sounds like, so let's go ahead and jump right into some sound tests. There isn't time to show off every single thing that the amp can do just because there's so many different features and effects and stuff, but I did record a few tracks just to give you guys a taste of what you can do with this thing, and it's super versatile, pretty crazy that you can do all this with one amp. And the way I recorded this, I just had my guitar running into the amp, and the amp straight into my computer using a USB cable. Then I used a Logic Pro to record everything. All right, so you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy some tunes. I hope you guys enjoyed those sound demonstrations. I had a lot of fun recording them. One feature that I really enjoyed was that heavy octave effect that makes your guitar sound like a bass. So that was really cool for recording. I'm kind of sad that I have to give this thing back after I'm done with this review video, because I would really like to have this thing around the studio just because of how versatile it is. Well, guys, that is going to wrap it up for my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Personally, I think this thing is pretty sweet. If you guys can't tell, I really don't have anything negative to say about it. If you remember, a while back I reviewed the Mustang LT50 or LT25, I can't remember, one of those, but I do like this amp more than that one. They're kind of in kind of similar amps, and I think this one does outperform it. So if you're picking between those two, I'd probably go with the Boss Katana. This thing has a lot of features, of course, and can be used everything from for everything from bedroom practice to recording and even live performance if you want to throw in that Footswitch. Don't forget to stop by Arkansas Music Works, mention this video for 10% off your amp, or you can email them again at info@arkansasmusicworks.com, and they can ship this amp to you. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Huge thanks to all my patrons for your support. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.